Leaving the late-night meeting with the human and the dogs just left me irritated and feeling dirty. Surely I, a member of the vampiric race and leader of the academic coven, did not need to waste my time every single meeting, especially considering this meeting was pointless. The humans had already chosen her as an ambassador. Why did my time have to be wasted? Regardless, it was interesting to see such a change in someone so fearful turn to someone wanting to become helpful. Do I think she'll succeed? Of course not. Negotiating with a species who can turn your kind into our kind, of which I am one of those victims, is always going to be tense no matter how many centuries pass. Truly absurd to believe that true peace between our three kinds can truly exist. I opened the door to the coven's dorm. Immediately, silence befell those who were near the entrance. They looked at me, stunned. I never questioned it. A disgusting low-grade vampire created by some power-hungry vampire who found a poor, defenseless human to change was their leader, their representative. Though they did not look in disgust, they looked in fearful reverence. What could I have done to put myself in this position of power when others like me are treated like third-rate citizens in our society? Simple. When you are naturally gifted in intellect, charisma, and ooze and aura demanding respect like I, well, who else are they going to give it to? I walked past one who was looking away. My eyes narrowed. I examined the hair, white as snow. This must be Elaine, a highborn. Yet here she was, looking away from a lowly would-be thrall, her leader. I opened the door to the coven's dorm. Immediately, silence befell those who were near the entrance. They looked at me, stunned. I never questioned it. A disgusting low-grade vampire created by some power-hungry vampire who had found a poor, defenseless human to change was their leader, their representative. Though they did not look in disgust, they looked in fearful reverence. What could I have done to put myself in this position of power when others like me are treated like third-rate citizens in our society? Simple. When you are naturally gifted in intellect, charisma, and ooze and aura demanding respect like I, well, who else are they going to give it to? I walked past one who was looking away. My eyes narrowed. I examined the hair, white as snow. This must be Elaine, a highborn. Yet here she was, looking away from a lowly would-be thrall, her leader. Ms. look at me. Her pink eyes looked into mine. She seemed nervous. I smiled a little. Being stepped on after my transformation was all worth it for this moment. The highest borns, who looked down at my existence, now nervous to be in my presence. Oh. Truly wonderful. Have any of you eaten?
No, Mr. Corella. You always told us not to eat without you.
An order that I was so proud to make. One that originally was made with humility, I am sure, to make sure that no other was bitten. But now, now it was made to tame those who would look down on me, to show that a disgusting whelp was truly superior. Good. Everyone into the dining hall. It is time we feed. We have a new member of our coven. We must look our best. They all walked ahead of me into the dining hall. The way they quickly obeyed was exquisite. I smiled and looked at the ceiling. This was where I belonged, at the top, making sure our species of blood-sucking beasts are not only tamed, but chained, with I holding them all back. I stepped into the dining halls, everyone looking at the donated blood in front of them. The only chair that was open was the one at the head of the table. Mine.
Mr. Corella, we're all ready for the meal.
She asked in beautiful humility, obviously getting tired of waiting while I just relished in the scene I was looking at. Go on and feed. Don't be messy. We aren't like the dogs. The only thing I hated more than inconveniences were werewolves. The disgusting-smelling blood of the dogs was overwhelming to our senses, hence why I hated meeting with them, making me want to get sick if I actually had a working stomach. I took the bag, letting the sweet aroma of AB-negative blood wash over me. I bit into it, drinking it slowly, savoring the flavor and feeling of consuming it. A rarity such as I deserved a rare treat such as this. 0.6% of people have this blood, and I imagine an even lower percentage of non-born vampires have risen to my position. The others were also drinking their meal. They seemed at ease. A curious image to me that shows how our minds operate. We are weary creatures unless we are feeding. I finished my bag first and set it back down gently, wiping my mouth to make sure all remaining blood was been removed. When you are finished, do not forget that we must look our best for our new dorm guest. If any of you decide to embarrass yourselves today, then I shall take it as a way to embarrass me and my leadership, which, as you know, is unacceptable. They were quiet, an acceptable response. Showed they listened. I smirked and left the room, heading into the classroom, and sat there waiting for the rest of the coven. Only the teacher was there, writing notes to himself. I kept silent as the other members of the coven shuffled in. Though their attire wasn't nearly as presentable as my wardrobe, I couldn't scold them. They looked as good as they possibly could. A few minutes would pass and the teacher stood and walked in front of his desk.
Thank you for coming. I hope the meal wasn't spoiled, and welcome to another day of Human Society Studies.
A pointless class. Between us and the dogs, we were leagues ahead of them in terms of knowledge of human society, partly because we have transformed humans into our kind, but also because humans are our preferred prey. So of course we would need to learn the patterns of our food source in order to keep up our strength.
However, before we start, we do have a new member of the coven coming in today.
Stand in introduction. There was no rule to stand when someone was introduced. In all honesty, I just knew they would because I said so. And they did. They stood with me in welcoming our new member. The door opened and a very tall vampire, having to even duck the top of the door frame, entered the classroom. His short, dark hair shaggy, his eyes the usual vampiric pink, his body much more muscular than a normal vampire body. This man was a very unique individual.
I am Victor Darius. Thank you for allowing me to join in this endeavor. My home coven is not a supporter of this attempt, but if I'm allowed to head our kind in a new generation of existence, then I'm willing to temporarily abandon my home to support you.
I went to him and extended my hand. He accepted and shook it. Good. He has manners. Though I could tell from his eyes that he noticed I was a non-born vampire, I never knew how they did it. I did not have such an ability. I never cared enough to ask, as it did not matter. I am Simon Percival Corella, the leader of this coven. I want to be the first to welcome you here. As long as respect is given, then I'm sure everything will be settled fine. The man arched his eyebrows in confusion. I don't know what was so confusing. Surely he knew what respect of your superiors meant.
I give respect to those who deserve it, not to people who demand it.
The words hit a chord, but I still maintained my dignity. I was the leader. I was put here because I deserved it. Because I truly am the smarter and better leader out of everyone here. I am the head of the coven. It is imperative that you...
I don't care who you are.
Those were the words that froze my thoughts and my body. Didn't care. Didn't care, but leadership was everything. Status was how the world turned. What does he mean he doesn't care? How dare he? I am the leader. I turned to yell at him, but he was already sitting down, setting his books down. How could he truly not care? This class felt like a prison. My body tense. I kept fighting the urge to look at this Victor. How could he not care? Leadership was the backbone of our society. How could he look at me and say he doesn't care? It should be instinct to care. The more I tried, not thinking about the infuriating newcomer, the more frustrated I would get. Now I was alone in this room, with nothing but this embarrassing emotion guiding me. If I had a heart, it would be beating in my ears. My eyes would be hyper-focused on whatever was in front of me. Muscles tensing and relaxing with every breath. Instead, I just had the insufferable mental feelings and physical memories of rage. I never truly missed being human. Before, I couldn't take a punch. I was sick all the time. Doctors were always examining me. It was suffocating. This body never gets sick now. I am nigh immortal. However, this body was so hard to relieve mental burdens. There was no crying, only sitting in an emotional tornado until the mind and body decided that it was over. It's all his fault anyways. If he could just follow the traditions of the damned vampires, none of this would have happened. I could maintain my composure, move on with my day, writing notes, making sure those morons didn't get carried away. But no, he had to disrupt the system. A system that I placed. A system that was approved by our councils and covens. But no, of course, someone just has to ruin it for me. What did I do to even closely deserve this?
Mr. Corella?
Short, blonde male, Desmond Harris. He was so meek, even before I was appointed as head of the coven, he wasn't looking directly at me. What is it, Desmond? I am trying to study. Can you not see? I gestured around my location. I don't know why I reacted like that. The logical part of my brain told me it was the overwhelming emotions of humiliation guiding my actions. I looked at Desmond, who seemed even more nervous. I decided to backtrack and take a breath. What is it that you need so that we can continue our studies?
I, was wondering if you're okay. It's unlike you to be that rattled.
He is wondering if I was okay? Was it really that obvious? Oh, but of course it was. This is what happens when rules are broken. Everything becomes unaligned. Now Desmond pathetically asking me if I was okay. All I felt was my anger rising. Of course I am okay. Why would I not be? I am not so weak-minded that a few angry words would affect me. I'm not like the rest of these whelps who break at the slightest perturbed stare. Desmond flinched as I said those words. He then straightened up and looked at me. A stare absent of respect.
You know, if you keep acting like this towards everyone, then you really will lose everything.
Of all people, Desmond is the one telling me off now. That bastard Victor is ruining everything. I finally proved to everyone that I truly am better, and he's trying to tear me back down to what I was before the opportunity. I'll be damned if I let him win. I earned this. And how am I acting, Desmond? Explain to me how I am acting. My anger was starting to bubble. I was losing my sense of control.
You're acting like an arrogant prick, Simon.
I don't know why, but hearing him say my first name made the mental volcano explode. Arrogance? oh, that's cold, isn't it? Your kind look down on my kind in arrogance. Your kind creates my kind in arrogance, and yet you act like it's our fault for existing. You have earned someone else putting you in your place. You took from me my humanity and made me into one of you, and then tried to treat me like shit on your shoe. Who the living fuck do you think you are for even daring to call me arrogant when all your kind has ever done is look for ways to stomp out any hope of respect from me? So now there is some meathead-looking bloodsucker who comes right in here and tries to take everything from me again! So you want to know what's wrong, Desmond fucking Harris? I demand respect. I have earned respect. Dealing with sickness and pain and isolation in my mortal life. Being told that there is only one way to save me and turning me into this creature, only to be treated even worse when I finally get the chance to not feel terrible. My body doesn't require air, so I can only assume that it was just the memory of being out of breath that caused me to pant. The true physical phenomenon of years of exhausting rage. Desmond looked at me with eyes that were surprised from the info dump at his feet.
Wow. Was not expecting that level of venting from you.
I straightened myself up and relaxed my breathing. Doesn't matter. Never speak of this to anyone without my permission.
I wouldn't dream of it. But Simon, Mr. Corella, it's good to see that there's more than know-it-all prick in that body.
Shut up, Desmond. I need to think. The door closed, and again I was alone. I don't know how long I spent sitting in the study with nothing but my own seething thoughts. I decided to look at the clock, only to be shocked to see it's been a full day. I sighed and decided that perhaps sitting in my own self-pity wasn't the solution to the issue. I opened the door and heard chattering. Not completely abnormal, but usually it wasn't this lively, especially right after class. I stepped into the dining hall only to see everyone talking to Victor. They were smiling and laughing while Victor just rambled on about his life or whatever. Elaine laughed the hardest, sitting next to Victor. The scene felt so different from the quiet smiles that usually happen between the coven. My fists clenched tightly. Why didn't they ever act like this towards me? I've been here with them since the beginning. I deserve respect like this. I deserve to be liked the way Victor is liked. I have sacrificed so much and pushed myself so much to be placed here. Seeing everyone, if I were to be honest, threw me off my game. I had such an idea of how to approach the situation. For whatever reason, seeing all of this made all of my confidence in this plan disappear. Now I was left with a choice. Do I join the coven, or could I sneak past and go into my room? Going to my room would be the simplest response. Let festivities die out and then confront the situation. Something in me stirred. And before I could logicalize an answer, I stepped into the dining area. All of the eyes turned towards me. Some of the smiles faltered. Others tried to keep their smile, but they turned awkward, almost sour. Desmond was on the other side, watching me. I could still tell he was nervous, but he was studying me. It honestly made me uncomfortable. At this moment, I missed when he would avert his gaze when I walked into a room. Elaine Fira looked at the table, her demeanor changing from the laughing girl to the solemn one that I was more used to.
Didn't expect to see you here.
Heard some noise and became curious as to what the commotion was.
Not common here? That's disappointing.
Well, we're busy trying to make sure our kind doesn't get hunted down just because of a few bad seeds.
You're such a stiff, aren't you?
I take my position seriously.
Fine. Come on, sit down with us.
His dismissal of my statement burned in my gut, but I refused to let my anger take over twice in one day. I noticed that my chair was still empty. If I had a heart, it may have skipped a beat. The feeling was fleeting, and I sat in my seat at the head of the table. Everyone's faces slowly seemed less stony, though still very awkward. I sat up straight and was quiet, waiting for someone else to start the conversation. I knew I was somewhat of an outsider in this hangout, so I wanted to be as polite as I could, even though just seeing this aggravated me.
So, Simon, tell me how you got to be the head of this coven. Someone like you in this position for this purpose surprises me.
What do you mean by that? Was he trying to get under my skin? With a comment like that, how else am I supposed to take that? Like me. What, so is not being born a vampire so egregious that it is impossible to be qualified to lead? I took a breath again, trying to keep myself contained. I had the qualities they needed. Perhaps it was something only someone forced to become a vampire can understand. Not for you purebloods. The others seemed shocked by my response. Though my distaste for our kind was never a secret, I would never call them purebloods. They are my subordinates. I am superior to them in this endeavor. That is enough for them to know. After my statement, Victor's smile faltered. He leaned forward, staring at me with such intensity.
Oh, so you claim that you're the only one to do this job?
The only one? Oh, no. I'm not that ignorantly cocky. I was merely the best for the job. Surely better than someone who refuses to follow the rules of hierarchy.
You've got to be joking. Why would I follow someone who's so blindly arrogant to think that they are the best for the job?
He was standing, looking down at me. I felt that anger bubbling in my stomach. If I had the ability to vomit, I would feel nauseous. Instead, it was just the phantom feeling of anger as I, too, stood. Why, you can't stand that someone who wasn't born one of you is your leader. I looked at him, my own intensity aimed at him. All of you pure-blood vampires looking down on my kind. It's your fault we exist. If you hate us so much, why do you keep creating people like me? You could just let us live our mortal lives and then you don't have to deal with us. But no. No, you just can't help creating someone to kick around. I looked at Desmond. He was standing a bit straighter, looking at me. You truly think I wanted this? That I willingly chose this life? My life as a human was terrible. Sickness, disdain. A kind vampire gave me an out, and I took it. And what did I see? People like you, Victor, who just couldn't wait to kick me around. Who wanted me gone. For my whole life I was told, if there is a leader, you respect them, no matter what. So what happens when I become leader? I was nervous, and then I learned if you kick others down, they respect you. Do you think I wanted to become like this? To gain this sense of entitlement? You created that too, your kind, pushing me to only want respect, and then I finally get rank and no respect. You'll Damn right I am the best one to do this job. I was human. I know how the humans think. Do you? No. No, you probably haven't even talked to a human, let alone able to negotiate. Those fragile, pathetic beings are wiping us out. So if I act entitled, then fuck off, because I'm making sure you little pure-blood ass doesn't turn into dust in the morning sun. Victor stopped for a moment and walked up to me. He gripped my shirt and lifted me up, his fist clenched, and he looked as if he was going to throw a punch. So, resulting to violence, are we? You are no better than the dogs.
Put the annoying prick down!
Almost comically, both of us turned to see the ignorant human girl. Or the new ambassador. Great.
And who the hell are you?
I'm the ambassador. Was just made one a while back. Geez, both dorms are so violent tonight. Had to deal with an unconscious werewolf to send back, and now 2 of you are fighting. Even after the headmaster told me that your kind were the more formal and less violent race.
Victor looked back at me and put me down. He looked so annoyed and angry that I almost wanted to laugh at him. But for right now, I'll just smirk.
I don't know why you're smirking.
The girl was making her way to me.
You are the leader, right?
Yes, but
So is there a reason why you put down everyone else in the dorm?
because that's the
It changes! No more of this looking down on others bullshit. God, like you're immortal, right? So you're just going to look down on everyone the rest of your life? That sounds miserable.
I stared at the girl and my eyes narrowed. You don't know anything of our kind. Don't go talking as if you know everything.
Fine, fine. And you!
She looked at Victor, who was halfway through a snarl.
He's a dick, a prick, and anything you can insult him on is 100% valid. However, he is your leader, making sure that your kind don't get wiped out. Give him some respect. You weren't the one picked, if that's how it happened, at least. Anyways.
She took a step back and looked at everyone.
If anyone has anything to say to Simon, this is your moment. If not, I'm leaving.
There were a few more moments of silence, my scolding echoing through my mind. This wasn't the job of an ambassador, was it? My God, this could get very annoying. I heard a shifting and looked over to see Desmond slowly making his way over.
I'm sorry that you were treated bad. No one ever deserves that, regardless of species. However, you need to treat us better, so then we can respect you, instead of being scared to speak.
You're really smart. But Simon, you act as if you were a king. Please, just lead us as an ambassador of our species and make this opportunity happen.
I wanted to yell back at them, but both of them were surprisingly calm with their expression. I looked back at Angelique. You are annoying. But perhaps there is merit. Fine. If you want someone a bit more humbled, I will try. I looked at Victor. However, I will still demand respect. I was chosen for this position because I was seen as the best candidate. Those who cannot follow that, I have no use for. Is that understood?
Fuck off.
Ahem.
Fine.
The girl left, and I looked at everyone. They all stared at me, expecting me to say something. Continue your hangout. I will read in my room.
You should stay here with us.
Our leader has spoken. Let's not push him too far out of the box.
I looked at Desmond and nodded my thanks. And Victor, don't ever talk to our ambassador that way again. She is working with a lot more than your pathetic hands have ever held. The new member said nothing and just sat back down, his face filled with spite. I smiled a bit and walked on. I may try to humble myself. However, nothing will bring me more joy than to bring an arrogant pureblood to humility. The next 1,000 years of my life will be defined by these moments, so perhaps taking their words to mind would be a good course of action. I'm not fond of playing nice, but I do enjoy life. And if tearing apart my ego will keep my feet moving, then I guess that's how it's supposed to be.